All right, let us talk about the most complete football player in America. That, of course, is Travis Hunter from Colorado. And I'm not saying receiver Travis Hunter or cornerback Travis Hunter because he's both. He's important at both positions. We're talking about him for the Heisman Trophy because we've not seen a two-way player like this. Not in our lifetimes, Ari, because you can say Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, they played both ways, but not like this. Not every down and not this impactful. Because Travis Hunter is Colorado's best receiver, and as you saw in the Baylor game, the best defender as well.
Yeah. And we're going to get into a Heisman conversation about Travis, and I think we should. And the reason why is our viewpoints of how to vote for this award overlap here. He's the best overall player in the country, in my opinion, and he also plays for a team that is unavoidably a topic, no matter what happens, win or loss. And when you look at these prize pick squares that we're about to present here, Andy, the numbers are basically indicative of what to come to expect from him on a week-to-week basis.
Yes. Yeah. This preview is brought to you by Prize Picks, best daily fantasy game in America. Download the app, use the code STAPLES, play 5, get $50 instantly. So the way it works is you pick squares. You pick as few as 2 squares. The more squares you pick, the higher the potential payout. Players will have a stat attached to them. For example, Travis Hunter against UCF on Saturday, 96.5 receiving yards. Do you think they will throw for more than that or fewer than that? Do you think Travis Hunter will catch more than that or fewer than that? Another square that's interesting is the KJ Jefferson interception square. And this is like usually when we talk about guys in Prize Picks, we're only talking about what they do on offense. But KJ Jefferson has a square it's a demon square, so it actually pays out more if you win it. It's more than 0.5 interceptions. So if Travis Hunter gets a pick in this game, that's another way you can win with Travis Hunter. Like, he's one of the few players you can do it because a lot of on Prize Picks, you can't do 2 different things with the same player on the same play. But you can for Travis Hunter as long as one of them is your KJ Jefferson interception square.
Yep, it's and you can still hit the KJ Jefferson square if Travis Hunter doesn't happen to get that pick. But if you think he's going to get the pick, which 9 times out of 10, it does seem like he gets one in just about every game he plays, or at least is in a position to get one. There is no way that a human being with eyes who watches this sport can't appreciate what this guy brings to the table week in and week out. And I think part of the issue here with Colorado is that Deion Sanders is such a polarizing figure that he does get people talking, and it's not always in a positive light. And I do think that there is a large portion of this country, like it or not, who root against Colorado. At first, they were America's sweetheart. You wanted to see what Deion could do with a different type of coaching mentality in a sport that's been done kind of the same way by everybody at the highest level. And then through a series of videos and one-liners and flipping of the roster and, quite the evolution at Colorado, they've kind of become the bad boys of the sport to a lot of people. And I think that could hurt Travis Hunter in the Heisman discussion, but I don't think it should, Andy. Like in this specific instance, and I tweeted this from the first night of college football, and I'm bound to overreact, but I still feel this way. If you could pick one player, number 1 overall, to add to your team from college football this year, is there any other answer than Travis?
No, they're absolutely. There may be a quarterback that you think about, but who's going to impact your team on both sides of the ball like Travis Hunter? And that's the part that amazes me. Like our grandparents watched players who played both ways the whole game. We've never seen this. I didn't even know it was possible. Like, I'm fascinated about what he is at the next level. Like, is he a receiver? Is he a corner? Does Bill Belichick get another job and play him both ways like he played Troy Brown both ways? Like, I have no idea. But I'm just so excited to watch him every time he plays. And I do agree with your point about Deion Sanders. And I'm afraid some of that hurts Travis Hunter because, like, there should be no debate whatsoever about how good Travis Hunter is. Yet you still have people who come in, oh, he doesn't do it. They stink. He's overrated. No, he's not. We can't possibly overrate him.
Andy, I think that Colorado wins games because he exists on their team. Like, if you took him off the team, I think they would have a worse record the last 2 years. I don't know if I just said something that was as obvious as water is wet, or if
well, they sure as hell would have lost last week.
Yeah. So here's the thing I want to talk about with you for 2 minutes about the Heisman Trophy voting process. And you said it yourself in another video that we were talking about the Heisman, and you said that if losses start piling up or the team doesn't do as well, then a person's going to lose steam. And I'm wondering, because you're so adamant about the way that you vote for the Heisman, which is most outstanding player, which it says on the trophy. As long as Travis Hunter continues to be productive, are you going to stay steadfast in your approach of putting him number one on your Heisman watch list every week as Colorado loses games? Because they're not going undefeated for the rest of the year. They're probably going to lose 3 or 4 more games.
I will tell you, if he keeps playing this way, it will take a Cam Newton-esque or Joe Burrow-esque quarterback performance to knock him off, in my mind. Because like you just said, if you could trade for any one player in college football, or if you could just select any one player, if you were a coach, you could just select any one player to start your team with, I think he's the player everybody pick.
And we're doing it during a year where there isn't a Caleb Williams somewhere. Like there isn't like a bona fide superstar that everybody came into the year knowing was the man, you know? And by the end of the year, I don't know how we're going to view Cam Ward or Carson Beck or, you know, other players who are pretty important pieces to very good teams. But in terms of just value that you would get from Travis Hunter and what he does, he doesn't just play both ways. He impacts the game both ways. Like, I think there's a distinction between those two things too.
I mean, that Baylor game's just incredible. No, he didn't catch the Hail Mary LeJohntay Wester did, but he did catch a bunch of passes in that game for a bunch of yards and made the most incredible play on defense to win it. For those who didn't see it, Baylor is going in to tie the game essentially with a touchdown in overtime. The back is right at the goal line. Travis Hunter instinctively or from film study, I don't know which one it is. It's probably a little bit of both.
It doesn't even matter. He did it because he
understands that if he tries to just make a tackle, he will be carried into the end zone, touchdown, game tied. You got to keep playing. He goes right for the ball and knocks it out right before the back crosses the goal line. The ball goes through the end zone, game over. Like, there just aren't players who can make that play.
Yeah. No, and
except him.
You and I fundamentally disagree about the Heisman all the time, but we could not be more on the same page in this regard. And here's what I want to say before we get out of here. I want to implore the voters, because there are over 1,000, right? A lot of people vote.
I think it's close to 1,000 now.
Yeah. But there are so many people who vote for the award that aren't sports writers or don't cover college football full time or whatever. And I think a lot of voters are very impacted by statistics and wins and losses. And I don't know what Travis Hunter's stats are going to look like at the end of the year. My hope is that because he's putting a lot of strain on his body and he's not a big kid, that he'll remain healthy. He had to miss some time last year with an injury. I hope that does not happen. But if he puts together a full year, please don't judge him because you don't like Deion Sanders. Please don't judge him because Colorado was 6-4 or whatever they end up being, or 6-6. I don't know what it's going to be. This guy is a sensational player, and you also have to know his backstory. Like, this is a 5-star prospect who was from Florida, was going to go to Florida State.
From Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, my bad. And was going to go to Florida State, flipped with Deion to Jackson State, a place that I can't imagine has a massive NIL fund, or I don't even recall if the flip happened before NIL was whatever.
It had just started.
It just started. But like, it's not the same reason why people go to schools now. He went to be different. He's been different. And not only has he been different, he followed Colorado, or Deion, to Colorado when he probably could have gone to Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, or any of the other places. And not only that, has produced week in and week out. Every single time that man is on the field, you feel his presence. And that's not something that you can say about even the best players in the sport. So he's got my vote. I'm keeping him number one until somebody changes my mind, and I don't know what it's going to take for that to happen.
Yeah, like I said, it would take a Cam Newton or Joe Burrow-esque quarterback performance where it's essentially someone, dragging their team. Well, Cam Newton dragged his team to a national title. Joe Burrow had lots of talent around him, but just obscene numbers like we've never seen before, because Travis Hunter is doing something that most of us who are not above the age of 70 have never seen before.